5 days ago on Reddit, someone claimed that RuneScape has shifted from a realistic medieval fantasy game to a high fantasy game. And Volcanic Donut, in response, joked, "Meet Fashionletics, my realistic medieval style locked ultimate Ironman account." I've risen to this challenge, and I'm gonna do it. But why would I do this? Why would I remove all of the high fantasy elements from an ostensibly high fantasy game? Well, in my spare time, I'm a secondary English teacher with a background in literature and medieval studies, so this is fun for me. It's just a passion project. I know that the concept of fun is sort of alien to a lot of RuneScape players today, but there's a couple of us out there who still enjoy it. So whether it involves research on my own or asking peers of mine for advice, I will be comparing the world of RuneScape to that of the medieval world, specifically that of medieval England and medieval Europe, from which a lot of this style and imagery is derived. So hi, and welcome to Iron Lateran. Lateran, the name, is derived from the Second Lateran Council, in which Pope Innocent II banned the use of crossbows in combat for being unfair. He was definitely onto something, but I don't think that he thought 1,000 years from then people would be arguing about the fairness of crossbows in PvP and Wildy. So what does this mean for our character? Well, this means that he cannot use any skills or items that are inconsistent with medieval lore or history, or have hair that's different than medieval lore. I'm working on that. I'll get it fixed. But in short, this means no magic experience, no runecrafting experience, cannot use weapons or armors inconsistent with medieval history. He has the regular Ironman restrictions as always, and most importantly, no teleporting. There are, of course, a couple of exceptions. One, in-game transportation that I cannot stop. Okay, so for instance, dying and then being teleported back to Lumbridge, I can't stop that, so that gets a pass. Wait, what the heck is up with these forearms? How have I never noticed that? Jeez. Additionally, I will have to use magic to get off of Tutorial Island, but other than that, I will not be gaining any magic or runecrafting experience. This will of course mean that dozens of quests in the game are going to be locked to me. Just a brief list here for you so you can see some of the more famous ones that I can't do. Humorously enough, this does mean that I can do Dragon Slayer 1 even though I can't wear rune armor, so I'm just gonna do it purely for the dragon slaying and the clout. Last but not least, you may be wondering how I plan to rationalize all of these magical and incredible events happening around Iron Lateran as he runs through the world. Well, I am going to play that he is essentially a Don Quixote style character running madly through this insane world of magic and goblins and insanity, and he perceives magic primarily as a clever illusion or trick, and at worst, the work of the devil. He is holy. Only God is on his side, and that's all he needs. And ultimately, he'll be looking to save the souls of those around him and rescue the princess, the damsel in distress, from the most wicked villain of all, mankind. Okay, that's enough blabbermouthing. Let's get into the look of our character here. We don't want any kind of hair that's like pompadour-y or put up. We want something pretty simple, not cut particularly elegantly. Remember, we're not going for like a noble. We're going for just a normal, average guy. A guy who, granted, does have a wider range of skills, but a normal person nonetheless. Reports of bearded faces are like really inconsistent in medieval lore and history. It seems like some years beards are in, some years beards are out. So I'm gonna go with mutton chops because those just seem like a generally safe facial hairstyle for that time period. I'm sorry, they just look so stupid. But I'm gonna go with mutton chops for our character because it's halfway between a beard and no beard, and I feel like a young guy trying to grow out a beard in this time period would probably end up with mutton chops. There are instances of, insults being hurled like, "Oh, you beardless child," right? But like one instance I could think of that is like in Sir Gawain in The Green Knight when he calls King Arthur beardless. But there's also a really strong feminist critique in Sir Gawain in The Green Knight, which could demonstrate that the insult of beardless isn't really an insult, and that maybe it's some kind of like, you know, criticism of patriarchal structure in feudal Europe. So there's actually a lot going on in that story. So I'm not going to take any comment about being beardless or not to say, oh yeah, definitely beards are good or definitely beards are bad. He has mutton chops. We're moving on. Why is he so angry that he was taught how to cook? That's a useful skill. Listen, as a millennial, I can tell you how to stretch your food dollar, okay? You shouldn't be so mad that he taught you how to cook shrimp. Shrimp is like $7 a pound. What's wrong with you? Oh, and apparently we can just shove this bread right in the oven. Don't need to let it rise or anything. This is just straight unleavened bread. Only the holiest of breads for Iron Lateran. Now this poor guy is trying to tell me about quests. Little do you know, sir, I can't do anything you're trying to tell me right now. I can't even read. That would be the most realistic way to interpret Iron Lateran. He can't read. He's like, what is this, a book? Looks like a fire starter to me. Yeah, my friends call me Frankie B, but you can call me Iron Lateran. What? Yes, I know it's a stupid name. Okay, Iron Lateran, my name is Desik. That's not realistic at all. Purple? Sir, where did you acquire such fine purple garb? That is truly only the color of kings and queens. Why aren't you wearing a shirt, my lord? It's a little nippy out, isn't it? Ah, okay, ranging, good. We are going to need to make ranging one of our primary activities because with no magic, range is the only, well, range we're gonna have. But also, we are gonna try to go for the frog leather armor and the bone crossbow with the Death to the Dorgeshin quest because those are gonna be two primary training and defensive items that are going to carry us into sort of like mid-game levels at, you know, with some kind of, you know, actual stats, not just, you know, steel armor forever. Ah, okay, banks. Obviously, as an Ironman, I can use the bank and I will use the bank because I have a life and I need to be able to do something. But more importantly, banks did exist in the medieval era, even stock trading in a very, very limited capacity towards the end of the medieval era started to exist in some parts of the world, but not really. It's really more like 17th, 18th century that stocks really began to take off, okay? But the idea that there is a group of people who have a financial interest that can hold your stuff or your money for a long period of time and then invest that money, that did exist, okay? Obviously, it wasn't magical and your stuff wasn't transported all over the world, but there's just going to have to be a concession there. Okay, we're just going to have to say that I have some sort of note or some sort of ability to get the things that I need from these people. I really don't think that's too lore-breaking or world-breaking. I think that's pretty reasonable. The other option would be to designate one bank in the world to be my bank, or keep track of which banks I deposit things in, and then I could go to that bank to get that thing if I stored it there, but not the things that I didn't store there. Both of which are nightmarish, and I'm not gonna do them, so don't ask. So if I use my gold to buy a bond from another player, I could get membership without spending any real money? Look at his face. He's just got this all figured out. He's gonna be the one guy who doesn't spend a single real dollar in this game because he's gonna do it. He's got it all figured out. I mean, I'm not gonna do that though. Like I'm gonna throw $11 at him. So it's, oh well. This seems like a good time to talk about prayer. I am going to use prayer. I thought about it a lot, and I think it makes sense for two reasons. One, this is about what a person in the medieval era would experience and do, and there's nothing more medieval than praying to a god and believing that the things that happen around you are a direct result of your prayer. And that's basically what prayer is in RuneScape. We know this. Your character is literally speaking words, and those incantations have a direct effect from the gods that provide you with a bonus to, you know, your mind or your health or your strength or whatever. So a medieval person would absolutely pray to a god and believe that the things that are happening around them were a direct result of that prayer. I know it sort of seems like it's stepping into the realm of magic, but that's kind of what it is. Like, yeah, it is. It's just like magic that Christians approve of. Like, we, you know, Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, okay. Harry Potter, no, that's devil book. Not my child. Oh, here it is. It is time. It is time for us to officially become an Iron Man. So obviously we are going hardcore Iron Man. If I die at some point in the future, we'll have to figure out what happens then. Do I start a new character to explore the world, or does Iron Lateran barely escape with his life and, you know, do something else? We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. What is this strange blue man doing over here? What is this thing you're saying? Rune stones? I've never heard of this. This sounds like some satanic bull crap to me. All right, so we're forced to cast Wind Strike on the chicken. Alright, great. So that means we never have to do magic again. And hey, fortunately we missed our first attack, so we actually have the lowest possible magic XP on this character. Hooray, account not ruined. Wait, what are you doing? No, stop. That hurt my feelings. Okay, awesome. We're here. We can finally start. Ooh, rat, kill it. Kill it and eat it. That could feed my family for a week. Die, rat. What? No food? Wow, this game is jank. Uninstalling. Yeah, whatever. It probably had the plague anyway. Oh, okay. Apparently RuneScape has cannons. Oh, that's pretty neat, honestly. Definitely very late medieval period that cannon were being used in Europe, but yeah, totally fair. Really the first use of cannon in medieval Europe was during the 100 Years' War between the French and the English, late 13th century, so like I said, very late. But they actually didn't fire cannonballs. They were actually like giant iron arrows shot out of a cannon that was called a pot de fer, which is like French for iron pot. So really cool stuff. What did that guy say these were? Goblins? Goblins? I don't think so. I don't think it's some otherworldly creature. These are just tiny, poor, misshapen, ugly humans. I'm just gonna go put him out of his misery. Oh, wait a second. I know what these are. Rural people living on the outskirts of town, farming, violently attacking any trespassers? These aren't goblins. They're Republicans. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, or I guess gentlemen, there are no women on the internet. This is the first episode of Iron Lateran. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, share it with your nerd friends. We'll be returning at some point to investigate RuneScape as a medieval character and really see what parts of the game are still medieval and what are still fantasy. Thank you, and bye-bye.